In our community, I'm a mortgage broker. I see so many one-person applications, and that one person makes $5,000 a month. It's simple math. 46% is what's called your housing expense ratio. Now let's say there's a husband and wife, and they both make $5,000 each. What's 46% of 10 grand? $4,600 per month versus $2,300 per month. Right now in Broward County, the average mortgage payment as of March 2023, $3,000 per month. So when you don't have mom and child teaming up together, or husband and wife teaming up together, or grandma that has Social Security, mom that has a job, child that has a job teaming up together, you're not gonna qualify for a mortgage right now. That's how you get pushed out of your neighborhood. It's just that simple. So if we don't fix the fundamental problems, marriage, stop divorcing each other over trivial matters. It's the truth. I'm speaking the truth. Like, come on, at some point you gotta have respect in the relationship and not yell at each other. Just calm it down a little bit and think about the bigger picture.
System malfunction.
What is happening, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, Download Malfunction. This is your one-stop shop in social media where we highlight a lot of the madness and the dysfunction that takes place in our society today. I want you to know that I appreciate you stopping by, and I also know that there's a lot of shadow watchers out there, but if you can please help me out and extend me a virtual handshake, it doesn't cost you anything and it requires limited amount of energy. If you can just scroll down and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and if this message resonates with you or any one of the videos within the channel, please share that out to your community because there's a high probability that they will also find this message beneficial. And I thank you very much for that. Now, so we don't waste any time, let's just go ahead and dig into this gentleman's message. First off, I completely agree with what he just had to say. And I've experienced this in my own life and in my own community. You know, there was a time in my life for a few years where I also did mortgage loans. And there was a few things that stood out to me. One was the massive amount of debt that people had here in America. I mean, there was people that I came across that I highly respected, and I thought that they were extremely wealthy people. And based on the visual inspection, they had it all. I'm talking about boats, yachts, expensive luxury cars, homes just off the coast. They had everything. Kids were enrolled in expensive private schools. They were clearly a beacon of success. But behind the scenes, the story got very gloomy. After analyzing these people's credit reports, I thought that there was no way that these people could own all of this stuff and have all of this money. But after doing this for a few years, I came to realize that these folks knew how to leverage credit. They didn't let credit drive them down in the tank. They knew how to utilize that to be able to capitalize and parlay that into more wealth. On the other hand, just like this gentleman said, I can't remember one or even a group of black people ever coming into the office with the intention or even the foresight to do the same thing. And again, I completely agree with him. Black people just don't know how to amass wealth. And honestly speaking, I don't even think they're concerned about doing that. They can care less of what the next generation has. They don't care to set them up, give them a leg up in society so that when they do decide to go to college or they do decide to buy themselves a condo or open up a business, they would have something like a springboard from all of the elbow grease and sweat that the previous generation would have left them to build off of. I'm gonna use my own family as an explanation and as a microcosm for what I see. I think that black people are just too envious or jealous of one another, which results in them not want to see anybody else in their community get ahead. And that's why I always say, there's no such thing as a black community. It just doesn't exist. Think about anything that you would need in terms of a service, like plumbing, a mechanic, a carpenter, contractor. Go to Google and try and find an African-American owned business in those segments. Watch how difficult it is. I try it time and time again. Every time I need something, I honestly try and find someone who shares my reflection to do that job, but they don't own businesses anywhere. I'm not saying all, so let's not get that confused. But what I am saying is it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. On the flip side, I'm always puzzled why black people just can't come together together collectively with the end goal in mind to give the next generation something to stand on. You know, I'm from Southern California, very close to the Mexican border, and a lot of the friends that I grew up with were from Hispanic backgrounds, primarily Mexico, but other parts of Latin America. And I swear, man, these people know how to work together. I don't know how many times or how many friends I've had growing up where they've had like 15 families living in a 2-bedroom apartment. They all work together. Maybe they're catching public transit for the first year, but they're all saving money. If you got 40 people posseed up in a 2-bedroom apartment, you figure the rent amongst each family is probably gonna be 25, 40 bucks. I don't know. But then over time, you see that there's one car that's been purchased. And then 6 months later, there's another car that's been purchased. And then everybody works together to drop every other individual off at their prospective jobs. And then there's 3 cars. And then a year later, they're talking about purchasing a home for one of the families or 2 of the families, or maybe 6 of the families. And they continue to do this. And before you know it, each of these families who were originally 15 inside of a 2-bedroom apartment now own their own homes. And most of these people don't have professional degrees, nor do they own businesses. These guys are doing jobs that are the bottom of the barrel. I mean, you got Jose and Pepe hanging out in the parking lot of Walmart or Home Depot, hitchhiking for jobs, while black people have all this opportunity here in America. And I don't want to hear anybody tell me different. Folks are always complaining about no one's gonna help them out, no one's gonna give them a job, and no one's gonna give them opportunity. That is bullshit. People that came before you worked for free for a few hundred years in this country under the sweltering heat from sun up to sundown, or can't see morning to can't see night. You know what I'm talking about. You would think that people would reflect on that history and the inhumane conditions in which their forefathers had to work under for free. You would think that people would call upon that history and the folklore and the stories that you've been told about this history and tell yourself today, man, I have an opportunity, so I'm gonna get after it like a ravenous dog. But no, that's too easy. And just like this gentleman said, we can't even stick together in our unions. We don't get married like everybody else. We don't realize that that combined income will actually work in our favor. Nor do we understand that the tax system and the way that it's set up is designed to provide for families, which puts them in a position to be able to skirt some of these tax policies and save more money for your families and the future generations. I don't know, maybe I'm the crazy one. But if you made it this far, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this out to somebody who might need this message, because this is a topic that just angers me. I'm pissed off.
System malfunction.